The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
God damn son of a...
What the?
Oh my god.
We have had some technical problems.
Hit it!
31 seconds, and we're going for auto sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dead Zone WDZRDB Worldwide.
June 14th, Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show. Gonna be a good show tonight. Hope you guys are doing well, and we're doing okay, and yeah, we do what we can do, right? Tonight's show, we got Nicole Strickland. She is the founder, co-director, case manager at San Diego Paranormal Research Society. She is also an author, and she has done tours on the Ghost Mary. On the Ghost Mary? On the Queen Mary, sorry. It's going to be a good show tonight. Stick around. But before we do that, we've got a brand new house band, League of Corruption, with a brand new tune. I think you guys are really, if you're headbangers like I am, you guys are really going to like this. It's Something in the Water. This is Lee.
And this is Michelle.
And this is Scott from the Dead Zone, Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Your source for everything paranormal, Para-X.
Millions of people are affected by the Para-X bug.
I realize that it is something that will stay with me for the rest of my life and long into the afterlife as well.
If you have the Para-X bug, there is hope.
With a nightly visit to the Para-X website and intensive past life regression therapy, I can control it.
Even with the Para-X bug, I can still lead an active life of radio show hosting, paranormal investigating, evidence checking, attending conferences, book writing, keeping up with the latest technology, and still keep my 40-hour-a-week day job.
If you think that you have the Para-X bug or know someone who might, visit para-x.com. And remember, you are not alone.
I am not alone.
I
am not alone.
The Para-X bug may cause the urge to chase shadow people, visit exotic haunted locations, adopt a pugwudgie, or spend all of your time trying to figure out the laws and principles of paranormal investigation. Listening to Para-X may increase these effects.
Sudden visions of full-body apparitions, or feeling the covers being pulled off you in the middle of the night by unseen hands, may also be signs of exposure to the Para-X bug.
The use of Para-X may be habit-forming, and an overwhelming desire to provoke spirits may be a serious side effect. If these symptoms last more than 4 hours, you should quickly consult a trusted witch and have her cast a "What the hell are you thinking?" spell on you. If symptoms persist, please contact the Para-X Radio Network Homeland Security Team for further instructions.
The Para-X bug may cause urges for late-night speaking with spirits and ghosts. Listening to Para-X may increase these effects. Overwhelming desire to try provoking a spirit may be a serious side effect. Those with Para-X bug effects lasting more than 4 hours should consult Para-X or see a professional. Sudden outbursts at the mention of orbs may be a sign of exposure to the Para-X bug. Use of Para-X may be habit-forming. Use caution when engaging in Para-X chat.
I told you that was cool. Didn't I tell you? I told you. We got Nicole Strickland on the line right now. We'll be talking to her in just a few moments. But one more from League of Corruption. This one's called Where's Your Savior Now? Again, another rocker. Turn it up.
Tell me where your savior
he's gone, he doesn't care. No, so tell me, where's your Savior now? Where's your Savior now?
Okay, and now back to business.
If all radio stations in town were palm trees, we'd be the one with the biggest coconuts.
Here are the one, the only
Dead Zone. Welcome back. I told you we would have Nicole Strickland tonight, and she's on the phone right now. How are you doing, lady?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Man, it's been a long time. We've tried to have you twice, haven't we?
I know.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
And well, things happen. Things happen, right?
Things happen. Yeah, it's all good though.
It's all good. Yeah, it absolutely is, and we appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm a pirate at heart, so I'm gonna bother you about everything about the Queen Mary. But first, before we get into that, before we get into that, I want to know what got you started in all this. And I know you are a founder of what's the name of the group? It's
San Diego Paranormal Research Society. I know it's kind of a long term on your tongue there.
Right.
What got me started in the field? You know, I say this a lot. I think I was born into the field. What I mean by that is ever since I was a young child, I've always had this innate curiosity with the unknown,
right?
With ghosts and hauntings. And then, of course, when I was young, I had experiences, too, that I really couldn't explain. And so, you know, getting older and through my high school years and in college years, that's when I started to delve more into the paranormal and read up on it.
Right.
And so I would say the one singular experience was with my grandmother's spirit, if you will. So my maternal grandmother passed away when I was in my undergraduate college years. And so she passed away relatively quickly from congestive heart failure.
Oh.
And so I, came back to San Diego to attend her services. And then when I went back out to college, I started having really odd experiences in my apartment. So they started with the doorknobs moving by themselves. Of course, I tested them. I couldn't find any reason why they would do this because it never happened before.
Right.
And then I was one night sitting on my bed, and I felt a disembodied hand caress my face, and it felt like as if it came from someone I knew.
Your grandmother.
So that's when I started to put together the dots. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then a few nights later, I was sitting again in my room doing studies, and I saw my grandmother's spirit, just full-bodied.
Wow.
She looked about like 10 years younger, and she was wearing one of her favorite blue and white dresses. She didn't say anything. She kind of had a slight smile on her face, and then it almost looked like she had a white light like facing her back, so kind of like a halo behind her.
Yeah.
And then after about maybe a half a second or so, she dissipated. And so that really got me going.
Okay, let me ask you this: do you have an opinion on why that would have been? Why she would have showed up to you looking younger? I mean,
I don't know about the younger part. Maybe to demonstrate that she was no longer sick and ill, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that I've thought of. She did call me the night before she passed.
Right.
And she wanted to ask if I was okay, because she tended to be a worrywart and always worried about the family and that sort of thing.
Well, yeah.
So, maybe it was her way of just letting me know that she was at peace and where she needed to be.
Right.
That's kind of where I've always gone with that.
Right. I've never asked anyone about that before. I mean, I've heard that many, many times. You see a person that's deceased and they look younger than they were, but I'm like,
right.
I don't understand why that would be. Maybe there is a reason for it. Maybe it's like you say. Maybe it's maybe they're trying to comfort you.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to know. I mean, sometimes we don't know the reasons. Maybe we're not meant to.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this is the lady that you remembered, and here I am to say hi and look over you. That's very
and she's
cool.
come through before too. I mean, every so often, usually around holidays.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think she's doing well where she is.
Yeah.
And so that's very comforting.
Very, very interesting. Yeah. And that's what got you started, though. I mean, that picked up your interest. Let's say.
A little bit more, yeah. That's actually what got me into investigating the unknown. Because prior to that, I was just kind of a bookworm. I would read books about it, articles, that sort of thing. But that actually got me out in the field.
Yeah.
So I thank her for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely. What was your first? Before you formed your team, you did it by yourself, I assume, or at least with a friend.
I volunteered with different paranormal research teams in Southern California. So it was interesting because I worked with different personalities and different teams and kind of saw what, you should do, what you shouldn't do. And so after a couple of years with that, I kind of wanted to found my own team. And so that's when I started the San Diego Paranormal Research Society. When was that? October of 2009. So it's been it's been a while.
It's been a little bit, yeah. It's been quite a while. Yeah, May 2009. Or wait a minute, 2000. Yeah, no, that's your first book. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that too. They kind of occurred, near each other.
Yeah. Very cool. Very, very cool. I mean, but you have to. If you start a team, you really do have to have a diverse group, right? You've got to have, like I am, and I admit it, I'm the worst skeptic ever on our team on RIP, but, it all works out.
That's good, though.
Yeah, it all works out. Because
I think it does. I mean, you have to be.
Yeah, we play off of each other, and I think that makes it better.
Absolutely. I can hear you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, okay. Now, going beyond that, before you went to, you've been everywhere, right? You've been on TV. You've been on the Travel Channel and these different programs.
Just a few, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's great. What directed you to them, or did they come to you?
Let's see. Going back, they came to me. It's one of those things where you're kind of, I guess, in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Trying to remember, because, let's see, my ghost story I did back in, I think it was 2013.
Wow.
And so they reached out to me, interested in some evidence from a historical location here in San Diego.
Yes.
The William Heath Davis House, Davis Horton House, I think it's called now. And then prior to that was the Travel Channel's Ghost Stories. I think it only lasted a couple of seasons. I thought it was a good show. I wish it would have, had more seasons. But that was interesting. It just kind of, because I knew some other investigators in the Southern California area, and so just one of them knew one of the producers for the show, if I remember correctly, and that's kind of how it all came about. And so we filmed at the Linda Vista Hospital, which is a very, very haunted location in Los Angeles. Yeah, have you been there?
No, but I would love to. We would like to go there at some point, but I mean, the way things are going now, we can't even go to our meet and greets. So
I know. It's crazy times.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay. Like I said, we're kind of short on time, and I am a buff of anything on the water, and I just wanted to. I want to hear some of your stories. And by the way, she's a former tour guide, right?
Who, myself?
Yes.
Not on the Queen Mary. I am still a tour guide at a location here in San Diego. Well, it's actually Vista, which is like 30 minutes north of San Diego.
Okay.
Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, and that was also the subject of one of my books too.
Right.
It's a well-known adobe. So we do tours there. Of course, we can't now with COVID-19, but not of the Queen Mary though. But absolutely there.
Well, let's go ahead and mention, and since we've talked about that now, let's go ahead and mention your books and where they can be found. I mean, Amazon, right? I'm sure.
Amazon, that's kind of a gold standard there. BarnesandNoble.com, some of the other bigger online book retailers. I know with the Queen Mary, they have gift stores throughout the ship, and so my books are sold there on the ship as well. All three of them, but mainly, online. Some select specialty shops in San Diego for, let's see, San Diego's Most Haunted, another one of my books, and then Spirits of Rancho Buena Vista Adobe. But I think pretty much everyone buys off Amazon anyways.
Right. Well, they used to anyway. They used to, yeah. Well, okay. So, the very first time you went on that ship. Let's hear about it. Come on, man. Come on.
Oh, this may sound crazy to some people, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine,
Everyone's different. So now what's interesting is my mom went on the ship before I did, and so
that's
I believe
very
it
cool.
was early 2000, I want to say like 1999 or 2000, and so she went on there to go ballroom dancing, and she told me about it. I was like, oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't even at all interested at all back then. then fast forward to 2000, let's see, the year 2001, I believe it was, 2001, senior year, was I a senior? I think I was a senior, so it would have been 2001. And so there was spring break, of course, we had a week off, and so my friend and I came from college to Southern California for a week off, and we decided to do a 3-day Carnival cruise. And there's an adjacent Carnival cruise port right next to the Queen Mary. So we did a little 3-day where you go to Mexico, you have a day at sea, you go down to Ensenada, and that was a lot of fun. So that was my first sighting of the Queen Mary, and I just couldn't stop staring at the ship when we departed and left. I'm like, God, what is this ship?
Yeah.
So I made a mental note, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go here when I get back someday. So fast forward, 2005 it was, my very first time, drove down Queens Highway, parked in the parking lot, and I was just kind of just awestruck.
Right.
You know, it was just like something, I mean, she was built in 34, so it literally was something out of the 30s.
All right.
So I walked
it's beautiful.
toward the ship. Yeah, absolutely. I keep saying absolutely. I mean, seriously.
That's all right. I do the same thing. I do the same.
I don't know why it's like that word is lacking my tongue today. I don't know.
I do the same thing. Yeah, that's all right.
I walk closer, I go on the elevators, and then I get off on A deck, walk actually into the ship, and this is something that I can't really put into words. It was almost like a soulful, instant falling in love with the ship. I felt like I had been there before, even
like
though
you belong there, right?
Yeah, I felt like I belonged. I felt at home. I felt peaceful. I just felt everything just totally perfect, and it was just such a beautiful feeling. And so that's what started it, and I almost in a way became obsessed with it in a healthy way. And that's when I started researching
in a healthy way.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
You know, there's this saying amongst people that know a lot about the Queen Mary, and my friend Tom Varney, he lives in Alaska, and I think he says it perfectly. He says, you know, she chooses the people that can really feel her and tap into her soul. So she chose you.
Okay, I agree with that.
So she
I
just
believe
kind
that.
of like, you know, wraps her little arms, or not her little, her big arms around you, and just kind of takes you, aboard.
I believe that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. Not everyone's going to understand it, but you know, if you do, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, I mean, and you've had experiences on that ship, as have many others, if they're to be believed. But I mean,
so many.
No, I mean, yeah. There's the sailors, there's the passengers, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to ask you about this. Did you ever have any experience with that little girl at the pool?
Oh, many. I mean, too many to count.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah, she's Jackie is her name. Now, what's interesting about her is that she's not a documented death on board. We don't know where she came from.
But she's there, though.
She's there. There is a little girl there, and it's funny too, because I've often wondered, is she like a tulpa? Is she like a psychokinetic creation?
Right.
Maybe there is that, because so many people want to experience her, but I do believe she's real, very, very intelligent, very highly advanced for a little spirit. I've seen her, and she looks like she could be Shirley Temple's twin.
Okay.
So picture Shirley Temple, and that's similar to what she looks like.
Yeah, back then.
My experience though, she goes everywhere. She's everywhere.
That era back then, that's what she looks like, and that's what she comes through as.
Yeah.
Now,
many people experience her.
Have you seen the wet footprints? Because we've had that experience here in Indiana at a location that we won't talk about, but
interesting.
There were wet footprints.
Did you see them, or did you just hear them?
We've got them on photograph.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, there were wet footprints in a flooded basement. There was no one there at the time. There was no one, and it's very crazy. Yeah, I mean, and here's the weird part. If you look at the photograph, they're on the Facebook page. They're either on Dead Zone or RIP.
I'm going to check that out.
On next to them are what looks like, I mean, good size hoof prints. Very strange.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very crazy.
Oh, I gotta go check that out. I will definitely look that up.
Absolutely, please
Let's
do.
see, footprints in the pool area. Now, I've heard them, definitely. I haven't necessarily seen them.
The wet slaps, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the sound of splashing water in the pool, even though it's drained. So kind of more or less maybe a residual type of phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know people who have seen the footprints actually appear on the tile. I myself have only ever heard them.
Right.
But it's creepy. I mean, you know, it's creepy, but it's not creepy. You know, it's just it's so interesting how this all, you know, how the paranormal works. It's like a matrix.
Yeah, it's what you're there for,
right?
And it kind of startles you at first, but it's like, oh, okay, there it is, right?
So there, yeah, many times. I mean, there's experiences pretty much. I mean, anywhere you're on the ship, you can have an experience. I mean, obviously, the more travel to hotspot locations where the tours go and that sort of thing, I just think they get more traffic and more experiences because of that. But
right.
I mean, you know, the hotel, which spans A, B, and M deck. I mean, so I've stayed in many cabins and staterooms on board and experiences in every single one of them.
I was going to say, why wouldn't they, you know, come up to you? Why wouldn't they be there? Well, you know, why would they just leave you alone? Because it's a designated hotel or motel room, whatever.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's there I go with that word again, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, people have with the hotel room, I mean, oh my gosh, knocks at the door, plumbing issues, the faucets turning off and on, closet drawers opening by themselves, imprints of people laying in the bed, the security chain on the stateroom entrance doors comes unlatched, phones ringing, no one on the end, I mean, you name it.
Right, you have phones in there too. I didn't know that. You have phones in the staterooms?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. Every room has them.
Landlines.
And you know, that's happened many times. And of course, I don't know if it's maybe a circuit issue or what. I mean, there could be an explanation for that. But so many people they'll be in their room and they'll get a phone call and they'll answer and there's static on the other end.
Right.
But then when this has happened to me, I've called the front desk and I said, can you explain this to me? And then from their end, they didn't even know a call. They didn't see the call coming through.
Oh, okay.
So it's just weird. It's just weird stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been?
Like I said, I have not. We haven't been.
Oh, that's right. You did say that.
Yeah, we haven't been to California in years. We would love to, but you know, right now it's not going to happen.
No, I know. I don't know when things are going to get back to normal. Hopefully soon, but it's definitely a challenge.
And it's got to be bad for you guys out in California too, right?
Yeah.
That's one thing.
California,
that's one thing we don't like to talk about on the show because, you know, people have their own opinions about paranormal and everything else. So and we don't want to get into that. No political whatever, but you know, just please stop.
I respect that.
Please stop. You know. Anyway.
No, I know. It's terrible. I know.
Right. How many experiences have you had with past life sailors on the ship?
Oh my goodness! Now some of the experiences, it's hard to know because some of the experiences you don't necessarily, and I mean I'm not, you know, I don't classify myself as a psychic medium or anything. I'm an empath. I work intuitively, but I don't ever say that I'm a psychic medium. I never have. So why would I now? You know.
Right.
So sometimes with an experience, whether it's a disembodied voice or a touch, it's hard to know where that's coming from. I've had experiences where I've seen partially manifested, full-bodied apparitions of former crew,
members,
passengers,
okay.
Even World War II servicemen as well. In various areas, the hotel hallways, down in the boiler rooms, I've seen as well. So I would say mostly, and again, even with like EVPs and you know, audio, it's hard to know necessarily who is addressing you, but there have been a few times where I've actually seen men in service uniform attire.
Right, and the Queen Mary was hit in the boiler room, right? I mean,
she was out, actually more in her front side. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a boiler room. I thought there were. I thought.
So it was more of the front, you know, the front side of the ship, and so she was damaged but was repaired. But for the other her escort ship, the HMS. It was so sad. I mean, over 300 men died.
The HMS. Accident. I'm sorry, you cut out, but what was that? Maybe that's what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah. So October of 1942. This again during World War II time. So she had an escort ship, HMS Curacao. So they collided.
Oh, okay.
And so over 300 of its British sailors died, either by drowning, burns, or sadly sucked from the suction of the ship, sucked underneath and dismembered by the propellers of the Queen Mary.
Right. Wow.
So there is a section, the food cargo hold, which I've been into, and I've even heard this myself, but many people will hear almost a phantom cries for help and screams. Yeah, it's hard when you hear that.
I can imagine.
It's hard to know whether it's a residual type of phenomenon or if there's some sort of intelligence to it as well.
But you hear it audibly.
Absolutely.
How far under the water line are you in meters? Do you know?
Part of the I'm not sure in meters actually. It's a good question, but you're pretty much underneath, especially when you go down in the pit, and that's where they kept the prisoners of war. You're definitely under the water line,
right?
In there, so. And
you can still to this day hear what's going on outside. I would imagine, can't you?
I would say if it's really quiet, yes.
Yeah.
But obviously, if there's noise going on, and not so much. I mean, it's trying to think because 4 cargo hold spans different decks. So especially there was the section forward where there's 2 rooms on either side on the starboard side, and the port side, the Coronia room and the Carpathia room, they're just like meeting rooms. So if you go forward from those, you're in a section where they used to have a museum, a Titanic museum, and in there's still portholes.
Okay.
So you can actually hear what's going on outside. But the lower you go, it's hard to hear what's going on outside.
Now, that Titanic museum was well before it was used as a military ship, right? Of course.
Well, they had I think the first Titanic museum, the one that I just mentioned, I think it was in the 90s, and they just had another one on board as well. It was last year, a couple of years ago. But I'm not sure. Those are the only 2 that I know of. I don't know if they've had, because she came into Long Beach December 9th of 1967.
Right.
So, But the actual Titanic's obviously sailed before her.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Way before. So I think they have museums on board. I think so many people compare the Queen Mary to the Titanic, and what's interesting is that on the voyage she sailed past the exact spot of the Titanic sinking.
Okay.
And they had some little commemoration ceremony. So I'm wondering if that was almost like a tap-in point for some of the Titanic spirits. Maybe. They see another ship that's so identical, almost bigger, but pretty similar in looks.
Maybe.
Maybe they felt, oh my gosh, and came on board. I mean, people have even seen, even myself, I've seen, again, spirits and apparition sightings that of individuals, and it almost looks like the clothing that they're wearing, from that earlier era.
Right.
Now, so it's really interesting,
Do you have any photographic evidence? I know you're the EVP specialist of your group, but do you have any photographic evidence of anything you've seen on that ship?
Yeah, I do, and some of my collection obviously is some of the pictures were sent to me, and then one of my friends, his name's Tony, he was a tour guide on the ship. He has amassed a collection of photographs as well, really, really good photographs. But I've taken a few, let's see, I think one on M deck, which is a hotel deck, and then another on promenade deck port side, and they show shadow figures, which is, that's another huge phenomenon that occurs on the ship.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, a lot of visual activity, a lot of interesting photographic evidence on board.
Wow.
And then, of course, one of my colleagues, his name's Matt. He does Matt Schultz. He lives in the San Diego area as well. He does weekend paranormal investigation tours on board Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And so he's also amassed a really interesting collection of ghostly photographs.
Okay. Do you guys have on your website, are there places that people can go to check out all these things?
Yeah, so we do. So I believe some of them are on San Diego paranormalresearch.com, and then on my Queen Mary website, which I totally need to update, spiritedqueenmary.com. So it's actually the title of one of my books, spiritedqueenmary.com. They're on there as well. And then Tony's website is the letter I, rumormill.com, I believe, and so he has some photos on there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you also teach classes about the paranormal activity, this kind of thing, right?
Yeah, intermittently. I don't have classes scheduled every week, so they're just basically come, just when people are interested and email me. Yeah, just paranormal investigation courses. I mean, when I teach, I don't want to sit there and say, oh, this is exactly how you do it. You have to do it no, just for people that are, interested in the field.
Right.
So, so paranormal investigation, protocol, that sort of thing, methodology type courses. Yeah, I make them fun.
All right. I love that.
Yeah.
I bet you could tell me more. I bet you could tell me so much more about the Queen Mary.
Oh, I know. Oh, totally.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I will. I swear I love it.
I know.
Will you come back on, please, and talk to me some more? I know we're running out of time.
Absolutely. Yeah, anytime you want. Let me know.
That is so cool.
Yes.
Man.
Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you.
Anytime you want, just let me know.
Okay, we will. Thank you very much.
We'll talk more.
We will. And before we leave, where can everyone listening find everything they need to know about the Titanic, about you, about all your books? It's Amazon. We already went through that, I know, but let's do it one more time.
So, of course, books, pretty much any online retailer, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. There's others that I know about but can't think of their names right now.
Yeah.
If you're in San Diego, some of the gift stores might have them. The Queen Mary, my 3 Queen Mary books, you can get online or on the ship in the gift stores.
Very cool.
Let's see, website, San Diego paranormalresearch.com, author NicoleStrickland.com, and of course spiritedqueenmary.com. And then of course I'm on Facebook as well, Instagram and Twitter.
Absolutely.
So I just kind of roam around.
Right.
I'm there, so you can pretty much find me. I'm there.
Right, and you have her web address on the ad here for Facebook for Dead Zone. So check that out.
I saw that's a great ad. Thank you so much.
No problem. Check that out. You're going to love it, man. And we're going to have you back because I want to hear more. I love this stuff.
Well, definitely, yeah. I mean, there's so many different areas we can go into.
Oh,
totally.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well,
I
guys,
need to get back out there, too, so one of these days. But thank you so much for having me on.
Well, maybe when you go back out there, give us a call. Maybe we can work out something and go with you.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
That would be cool if we can. Well, let's do it.
Yay, yes.
All right. Okay. Good night.
Good night. Have a good one.
You too.
Good evening. I am Sammy Terry, and you're listening to the Dead Zone.
Your source for everything paranormal, Para X.
This is Rick McCullum of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
Dead Zone, WDZRDB, worldwide.
What makes bad kids bad? What makes them do the things they do? Booze, babes, and bad guys.
Beautiful girls violated.
Hello, this is Christopher St. Booth, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.